If you knew me before, you wouldn't even look my way.
And welcome back to Sullivan's Unheard Voices. I'm here with Val.
Yep.
Val, I've met you a few times at the Silver Inn.
Yes.
My go-to for karaoke.
Mine too.
Yeah, it's just there's nothing. I never go there and think that it's gonna be a problem.
I don't either.
Yeah, it's always like a safe space.
For me, yeah.
Yeah.
It's and the regulars that come in, we all get to know each other and we all have fun.
Yeah.
And everybody watches for everybody. It's just, it is a very safe place.
Yeah, and not everybody drinks.
No, not everybody drinks.
Yeah, so that's the other misnomer I think people should know about.
Yeah. A lot of people go there, like I go there just to like release stress because it helps, after a bad week. Work. But yeah, I always have a good time there, and that's where we met.
Yeah. And then Amy talked to me a little bit about your art projects that you had going on. How did you get it started in painting?
Well, from a very young age, probably 8 or 9, I've always been drawing or, some sort of art. I always wanted something. I also sew. And that's all part of an art thing too. My mom taught me how to sew when I was like 6 or 8, doing hankies for my dad.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. And then as I got into school, I developed a liking for hands-on art, like painting and sculpting and, just different things like that. So that's how it all started. My mom was very artistic, very creative, everything. She did everything. She did wedding cakes, cake decorations. She did everything. I can't keep these on. So I'm going to be doing this all day. But she did everything. So I think my art ability came from her and her side of the family, because I have an uncle that is an absolute wonderful artist. He's so gorgeous. His stuff is so gorgeous. And that's how that started. I stepped away from it for a long time. I wanted to go to art school.
Yeah.
And I was accepted into the Boston School for Fine Arts. But back when I was college age, they didn't have all these programs that you could get money to go to school on. It was based on your family's income, your parents' income, and your parents had to pay. And, it was based on that. And being, my dad was a construction worker. We lived in Vermont, so he worked summers. He didn't work winters much. They couldn't afford it. So I didn't abandon it altogether, but I just put it on a back burner. And I ended up having a family, raising some kids, and touched here and there on sewing. It's cheaper to make my kids' clothes, and I'd paint a little bit. And then I divorced, and I moved to Virginia with my 2 kids, and down with my mom and dad. They left Vermont and went to Virginia, and I struggled so hard raising kids, and trying to do it. So I didn't touch a brush for probably 10 years.
Okay.
And then one year for Christmas, I decided I was going to paint my mom a picture. I made her cry. But it was, I just decided to pick it back up. And I picked it back up then, and then I sat it back down.
Okay.
So it's been an off and on, no formal training, just what I've learned and watching. And I do have a artist that I watch a lot on Patreon, and I love her stuff. And some of the stuff that I do is akin to her from my teaching myself, but I rather just take the brush, and I can't draw anymore.
Yeah.
But you put a paintbrush in my hand and I can figure it out.
And do you remember what you painted for your mom back then?
Oh yeah, I painted her. When I was a kid, there was a barn that sat out in the middle of a field, and snow in the winter would be. It was like a a sugaring house in Vermont. There's sugaring houses everywhere.
Yeah.
So anybody that doesn't know what a sugaring house is, to make maple syrup. And I remembered this barn, and I painted that for her, and it was a winter scene. And yeah, I should have brought that one.
Oh, it's
because that is like the one, because when she passed, I took it, I got it back. And that's the one that, when I did that painting, that's the one that made it stick, where it doesn't matter what's happening, I'm going to get back into it, I'm going to do it. And for the last 6 years, I've been painting. Love it. Got to get back to it. It's my passion. It always was. And yeah, it's so relaxing. It was like relaxing.
So how do you go about like selecting subjects to paint?
I do a lot of research on something that I want to do. Like I did a picture of, let me see if I got it. Yeah. I did I looked at a couple of things that I wanted to look at. I wanted to work with just 2 colors. So I worked this one, and this I call the red tree. It's just a winter scene.
Yeah.
And I researched the highs and lows before I could get my shadowing good. That's how I look at it. I don't look at it as I'm going to take this picture and I'm going to paint this picture. A lot of people do paint what they see, and that's fine. I like to take a lot of different things and put it together, because I think you get a lot of value. The highs and the lows and all the snow, and then you've got this one bright red tree sticking out for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was
How
fun.
long does it take you to make something like that?
This one took me probably about 6 hours, I'd say, to do it, because I work with acrylics, so they dry really fast.
Okay.
But I put this stuff in it. It's slow. It makes it slower to dry, so I can move it around like an oil paint. I'm not good with oils because my patient level, I like to have progress and see it.
Yeah.
With oils, sometimes you have to wait. Bob Ross did it with oils, and you did them absolutely. I could never do it. I tried. I couldn't do his. So I went to acrylics.
See, and I have no artistic talent whatsoever. When it comes
everybody
to that.
has something. This
Yeah.
is this right here.
That's different, right?
Right.
What I mean though is like, if you were to challenge me to pick up a pen and paper and draw something,
Yeah.
that's not my talent.
No.
And the reason I bring it up is because like whenever I meet somebody that has an actual talent, I can appreciate how much work goes into getting that talent. It's not like you wake up on a Tuesday and you can paint that way.
No, it takes, because I've had no formal training. I probably say that it takes me a little bit longer because I'm a perfectionist. I want everything to be just right. So it might take me a little bit longer to get there where I want it. But I get there, and I like that process, taking an empty canvas and starting putting marks on it and then build from what I've done. Because sometimes I start out thinking I'm going to do a forest scene, and it ends up being a waterfall because it changes.
And you have to be open to the muse.
You do.
Yeah.
If you do not listen to what's happening in your mind and in your surroundings and everything, I think a lot of people think that, you sit down and you have this. I never have this idea.
Yeah.
I have the idea that I'm going to paint today. And I start painting, and I think, well, I want to paint this ocean scene. And usually if I want to paint an ocean scene, I paint an ocean scene. But it might be a sunrise ocean scene or a sunset ocean scene or just a really icky weather. I loved the Oregon coast because of the vibrant colors and the stark, like the cliffs. On the East Coast where I'm from, we don't have those unless you're in Maine. So in Virginia, when I lived in Virginia, it was all beaches and stuff like that. Coming out here and going to the coast for the first time, I was like, oh my God.
It's a stark difference.
Oh my God, yes. But it's beautiful because it puts it, I see things probably different when I look at it than other people because I do have that artistic eye. So when I look at the coast, I see blues and grays and browns and reds where people are just like, oh, it's brown rock.
Yeah.
But it's not just brown rock.
Yeah, it's more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a lot of colors to make a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have. Did I bring? Oh, I didn't. I did not.
It's all good.
I didn't.
Because one of the things I appreciate about Oregon is I come originally from Washington, and I spent a lot of time at like Long Beach and Ocean Shores, and it's really just a peninsula of sand and sand dunes. And so to come down to Oregon and see the topography, it's beautiful compared to up there.
It is. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that Oregon doesn't allow people to drive on the beach.
I do too.
Because I'll never forget just up in Ocean Shores, and you can't find a spot that doesn't smell like gas while you're on the beach.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't want to smell gas while I'm on the beach.
Exactly. I want to go to the beach and have, that peace because that's what I go for. Yeah. It's very grounding. Mm-hmm. And when you have cars, I think I've seen probably, and I don't remember where it was up north in Oregon, there were cars on the beach. And
up in the Gerhard area.
Yeah, I think so.
They have like two places, I think, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yeah. And I was like, what? Don't drive on the beach? Because in Virginia, you cannot drive on the beach.
Yeah.
You don't drive on the beach over there. Not anymore. They used to, but they stopped it. And I'm so glad because I don't want to smell gas. I don't want to see a car. I go there to get away from all of that. Mm-hmm. It's like going to the woods. You go there to get away from.
Yeah.
I go to ground myself.
I've given up camping. I gave up camping after I got out of the military.
Yeah.
And it's a combination of I was camping just about, camping all the time in the military.
Of course.
Because we were always in the field. And then to come back here and you go camping and it's like, you're not camping, you're parked with 150 other people who are loud and drunk. And that's not what I want.
That's not fun for me.
Yeah.
Do I drink? Absolutely. Of course I do.
Yeah, of course.
A little bit. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to go on vacation and just have it be a drunk fest.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy the vacation. I want to be able to see stuff. I want to remember it when I get home. I want to paint it when I get home.
that was one of my biggest frustrations going to Nashville.
Oh,
because I went to Nashville a couple of years ago to see a buddy, but also to check out Nashville itself.
Yeah.
But it was just one big, huge drunk fest with people like drunk enough to be sick in the streets at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. That's the way. When I went to, I drove through New Orleans and it was before the flood and everything. And that's what I felt. Was driving down the famous Bourbon Street. It stunk like stale beer and pee and puke. And I was like, no, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
I don't. I always thought I wanted to go down for Mardi Gras, but I don't want to anymore.
I'm right there with you. And let's the volume's good. I think we can get rid of the headphones.
Okay, good.
Let's do you a favor because let's free you up from that. Burden.
Well, it just keeps slipping. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know why either, but
my hair's slippery today.
So, and you told me we sort of talked a little bit about before we came on air the fact that you've been in Oregon now for about 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, how much has Salem changed in that
time?
My
gosh! When I first got here, I absolutely loved Salem.
Yeah,
it was. It was beautiful. It was the downtown area was pretty. I loved Lancaster Mall. I loved going into it. I'm sure before I even saw Lancaster Mall, I understand it was all fields up there, and Cordon Rose was all fields. But there is so much housing coming in now that it's very stressful. And I think, I really do like it here. If I had to live in one or two places, and these are only two, I'd go back to Vermont or I'd stay in Oregon.
Yeah.
It's just, I think I'm ready to get out of the city a little bit. I don't want to totally get away from Salem because it is, it's convenience. But I'm finding that the city is getting very busy in 20 years.
Yeah.
It's very busy. A lot of new businesses coming in, which is great. A lot of stuff happens here, which is really good. But it's very crowded, and they're constantly putting up new housing and apartment buildings. And let's just slow it down a little. Breathe, people.
I get where you're coming from to a certain extent, but then again, like I'm in Kaiser. And
Kaiser, I love Kaiser.
It's different than Salem.
It is Kaiser.
Like,
Kaiser is.
I love Kaiser.
Yeah.
And if I have a chance to stay there, I will.
Yeah.
Just because like Oregon treats veterans way better than any other place than I've ever been.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like the fact that I don't have to pay for a license plate ever again.
See,
the fact that I don't have to ever pay for camping again, even though I don't camp.
Right.
Just the idea that if you're a veteran who has sacrificed their body for this country, in Oregon, you can camp for free.
Yeah.
In Oregon, if you have a service-connected disability, they take a considerable amount off your property taxes every year. Yeah. It's just better.
I didn't know that. I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Because I think our veterans are you kidding?
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that give me the right to be able to do whatever I want, paint what I want. I don't not being censored. We can talk anything we want to.
Yeah.
And I have so much respect for our military that, I wanted to go into the Army after I couldn't get into art school.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't let me.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Me too.
Yeah. I did 4 years in the Army. And the one thing that I would say I learned when I got out is that there's a difference between lip service and actual meaning.
Yes.
And because like I remember hearing the lip service up in Washington State, for example, where they would say, we care about veterans, we care about veterans, we care about veterans. But then you get your tab bill and it's $400 a year.
Yeah.
And it's like, so what are you really doing for veterans?
Yeah.
Outside of building up a really amazing VA in Seattle, which is amazing.
Is it? Yeah. Well, I've heard that a VA up there was good.
However, what,
Yeah. It's not always, I've come to understand that people appreciate those little things that you do for them instead of all that big stuff. Yeah, we have a beautiful place to go and it's all great and everything. But our daily life is still make the daily life easier.
The only reason I'm going to the VA is when I have a health problem.
Right.
Can we have a spot where we can go when I don't have a health problem?
Right. Exactly. That's like going. I just joined the courthouse.
Yeah.
I had an injury here a year or so ago.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to heal from it, and I have to pay for it.
Yeah.
I wish I could say because it was a health benefit and it was a job-related injury that they would pay for it.
Oh, I agree 100%.
Yeah. I work for the state of Oregon, so why can't I get that? But I can't. And that's fine. I'm going to do it anyway because that's what I need, and it's a fun place to go.
Yeah.
And they have a pool, which I love to swim, and a hot tub and everything you want. But I think I want the little things. I don't care about the big stuff. I like the little things. Like it's kind of funny. I was in line for getting coffee one day and I got up there and the lady in front of the lady says, well, your coffee's paid for. And I went, what? She goes, the lady in front of you paid for it. And I went, really? I said, so I'm getting that person's coffee.
Yeah.
And she goes, really? And I said, yeah, those are the things. It's, do it that way. It's fun. It's really, I like the feeling that I get when I do something good for somebody else.
And I love the same thing. Unless, how would I say this? I love it when there's nothing expected in return.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't like to go about it like, I want to be kind to you because I expect you to do this in return to me.
Yeah, but that is a big problem because a lot of people there. I'm a real positive person.
Yeah,
and I try to convey that everywhere. My business that I paint under is called Joy Germ Creations. Okay, we'll get into that story in a minute.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel. Let's spread joy. I believe it. I try to stay positive. You can't do it all the time. It's really stressful.
Yeah.
But when I find that I'm getting under pressure, there's an ocean over there and there's mountains over there. One of the two is going to fix it.
And I love the fact that I'm an hour away from either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How convenient is that? Yeah. If you ski, which I don't, from Vermont, I don't ski. Right? Everybody goes, you don't? No, I don't.
I don't ski either.
I tried skiing once and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I did ice skate. I liked ice skating. So when we went to everybody wanted to go skiing, I went sledding or I skating. But if you did, you are so close. You got what, Mount Hood? Not far away.
Yeah.
You got the ocean over here, Lincoln City and everything. You can gamble if you want to, sit on the beach, do whatever. But I got a funny story to tell you.
Okay.
Me and my two kids moved here about 19, 20 years ago. And I was so excited to go to the coast because in Virginia, it's bathtub water. You walk out and it's just so beautiful. And it's so, oh my gosh, as long as the jellyfish aren't there. But it's like that. So I get out of the car and I'm running towards the beach. And I'm just running. My kids are behind me. And I get into the water and I'm like, I turn around and I'm like, stop. And they looked at me and I said, it's cold. And it was in July. I'm like, oh my God. Realization. The water over here comes from the north. The water over there comes from the south. The realization of how geography and all that wind stuff worked just hit me that day. I'm like, oh my God. It was so funny. Yeah.
I remember the exact flip side of that when I was stationed in Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
And I see all these people just drop everything and just run into the ocean. And I'm like, how are you not shivering when you get out?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is a different ballgame because the Pacific Ocean is freaking cold.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Even 100-degree weather, it's freaking cold.
I was like, are you kidding me? But now I can go over there now and wade through it a little bit and stuff, not for very long.
Yeah.
Get those toes numb. I got to get out. But yeah, that was just so weird for me.
Yeah.
Because I was so excited. It was hot.
Yeah. Like a very kind of similar but different, like, funny story that just came to my mind. Like, we went with a bunch of friends to Mount Bachelor, and as we're pulling into the Mount Bachelor, there's a sign on the side of the road that says free snowshoe tours with the ranger's office.
Oh, that would be fun.
So all of my friends are like, we want to do that. We want to do that. We want to do that. And I'm like, I'm going to pass and I'm just going to sit here and wait. And then, so they went and signed up, they did it. And then like 25 minutes later, I see them all trekking back with the most exhausted burnout looks on their faces. Yeah. They've never snowshoed before and they didn't know how much of a physical exercise it was.
It's like that's just like cross-country skiing. Everybody's like, oh my God, it's just like running. No, it's like running with 100 pounds of weight on you. And it's insane.
And you exercise muscles when you're snow skiing that you don't exercise when you're running.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so, like, I've only snow skied once, and I will never again. Because it's like parts of my legs I didn't even know had muscles were sore.
I so understand that. That's really funny because and that's true. It doesn't matter if you're not used to doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I used to horseback ride every day.
Yeah.
I want to ride again, but I'm so
Mhm.
scared because I know that when I get off the horse the next day, parts of my body are gonna hurt that haven't hurt in years.
Yep.
But I probably will. I mean, why not?
Yeah. You only
know?
live once on this planet.
Exactly.
So.
And I had heart surgery about 6 years ago. And I had quadruple bypass. And I have come to the realization that don't put it off.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do, and within reason. You know, I mean, that really opened my eyes up. And that's when I really took up the paintbrush, was after I got recovered from my surgery.
Yeah.
I didn't have a heart attack. I didn't have anything. I was just sick. And I went in and they found what was wrong and they went in and fixed it. And now I'm like, okay, I see a second part, you know,
Yeah.
that second part of your life that something has to happen for you to really realize that life is really, really short.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 67 and, you know.
I just turned 47 on Saturday. So, yeah.
Oh, yes. And happy birthday.
Yeah.
I wanted to come out Saturday night, but
it was loud.
Friday night was.
It was loud.
Was it?
Yeah.
I bet it was fun, though.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
The place was full.
Of course it was.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. When we celebrate people's birthdays at the inn, anybody that is like a person that is there a lot, it's always fun. And everybody always comes out. And I'm sorry I didn't, but Friday night was my birthday celebration with you because I drank a little bit too much.
Yeah. I get that.
I did have a good fun. I had so much fun Friday.
I did not drink nearly as much on Friday just because I knew Saturday was going to be interesting.
How did it go with the first place where you had the band and everything?
That's the place was loud.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was in Lebanon. It was at places very similar to the Yard in Salem. Mm-hmm. So they have like this pavilion and then the food trucks on the outside. And the pavilion acoustics were, they could use some specs up on those acoustics. Oh, yeah. However, it doesn't matter what the acoustics are. That Nicky Jones band always plays amazing.
Yeah.
Brandon Logan is hands down the best guitarist, and he brought a new amp that was from like 1962.
Oh, no way.
Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
That's another thing too with age. Everything is progress. Not
everything.
Mm-hmm. Not necessarily. I still like the sound of vinyl.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think people understand that there's more depth to vinyl than there is like even CDs.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you really hear, like one of the things, like my favorite band always will always be Tool. Mm-hmm. And the reason I love Tool, one of the reasons, other than the difference in the beat counts all the way through.
Right.
If you're listening to headphones, the drum is back here.
Yeah.
The bass is on the right. The guitar's on. So you're almost like in the stage.
Yeah.
While you're listening to the music. And
yeah.
They are intentional about that when they record their music. So when you listen to their headphones, that it's a little off.
That's good though.
Yeah. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I do. I like the old sounds of like one of my favorite bands growing up in the 60s, of course, is the Beatles.
Yeah.
But the older Beatles, when they started, getting away from the little pop stuff that they did, if you listen to it on vinyl, it is so much better than listening to it through a CD. I love the sound of vinyl. And I don't have one right now, but I will be getting one. Because it's just, it's a dying art.
Yeah. Well, it's coming back.
That's what I heard. Back. And my daughter, who is like, she's 32, and she was like, she went someplace and they were playing records, vinyl, and she goes, "Mom, I love it." She goes, "You're so right. It sounds so different." So she went and started buying vinyl records, and I think she has a record player now.
That's awesome.
But she started buying vinyl before she even had a thing to play them on.
Yeah.
Because she was like certain people, like she grew up with my music, which was the Beatles, and I listened to country a lot. And so she bought stuff that she remembers, I think that's exciting for me. that, the younger generation is also getting in tune with what we grew up with.
And some of the artists today are putting out only vinyl albums. They're not even streaming. So. It's happening.
I'm so excited to hear that.
And one of the things that I'm starting to see too, because like if you go into like different towns, like for example, Corvallis, they have more than one record store. Really? And both of them are busy enough to be successful and remain open.
Good.
And so I do think that there is this resurgence, and I'm starting to see like a resurgence in live music too.
Yes. Yeah. For a while, we got away from live music and concerts and different things and having bands in bars and everything. And I always enjoyed when I was younger going out to a bar and having live music.
Yeah,
I did. And then they stopped for a long time, somewhere in like the 80s or something. It just kind of fizzled out, and everybody was doing all the,
Yeah, it seemed like it shifted from a focus on local community-based music to everybody was wanting the national trends.
Yeah, I would rather go and listen to a really good local band.
Same.
Than go someplace and listen to somebody play records of people that I hear on the radio all the time. I like local food. I don't want to go to a big chain. I like the little mom and pops. I like being able to go into a restaurant and sit down and have old fashioned food. And you know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah.
The biggest frustration I had, so I used to work for the Restaurant Association, and I used to host a radio show about restaurants for about a year.
Really?
And one of the things that was the most surprising is just how few restaurants, unless they're local, make their stuff in-house.
Yeah.
Everything is can-bought, store-bought, and all that stuff. And so, like, I love going to those small independent places where, like, Mommy and Maddie's in Kaiser.
Yeah.
They make everything from scratch.
And Brooks Cafe 99. Oh my God, are you kidding? My favorite place to have breakfast.
Yeah.
They make so much of their stuff. And you drive up some mornings and the only thing you can smell is like that roast out on the back being smoked.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
See, those are the things that I like.
Yeah.
I like simple things. I like local music, local food, local everything.
Yeah.
I'd rather go shop at a boutique that is just a small local person trying to make it and help them than buy from, Walmart or Kmart.
And the numbers are astounding, right?
Yes.
If you look at like the numbers of dollars that stay in the community when you buy from a local place like that versus a national chain, like every dollar you spend at Mommy and Maddie's stays at Mommy and Maddie's.
Right.
And it stays in the community.
Yeah.
Instead of 70% of it going to a different state.
Yeah.
For the profit of shareholders instead of a profit, or even like, because like I also noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's my impression that if you get local places with local people, they also invest in the community.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's not even, they're not in it for the money.
No.
Like, obviously they want to make a profit and be alive, right? But
that's
I know very, very few people who are independent owners of small businesses that are in it to make $1 million.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first started back painting, I'd do a painting and I gave it away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? Because somebody said, oh, you know what? I really like that.
Yeah.
Okay, here, go. I'm not doing it to make money. I would love to make money at it. Mm-hmm. But what I do it for is me. It's very therapeutic for me. And that's why I do it. It's therapeutic. Anything that you do, I think as a craft or anything like that should be uplifting to you.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. It's the reason I started this podcast.
Oh,
I never intended or intend for this podcast to make any money.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like I have my day job. I have my, I am set. I don't need the money.
Right.
I do this because I get the opportunity to have these kinds of conversations.
Right. And you get to know people. Like I've seen you so many times out at the bar, and we've conversed a little bit, but this is really good getting to know different things. And I love the name of this. I love this.
And I can't do this at the bar.
No, I know.
And the reason being is because of my sensory processing disorder. I can't listen to music and engage in conversation.
Right. It's hard.
It's impossible for me.
Yeah.
And so a lot of this is the only way that I have to have these conversations with people.
Yeah. And this is a really good way to get to know people within our community. I am so happy that I was invited to it.
Yeah.
And we came to talk about art, but let's talk about whatever.
Yeah.
Because this is just always, I think it's good to get to know people.
Well, and you can appreciate somebody's art more when you know what they're about.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
And so when you hear somebody like you talk about, you want to be kind and you want to do all this stuff, it lends itself to more opportunities to express yourself.
Absolutely.
And
I agree.
The bare minimum that I have to talk to anybody on this podcast is they have to be kind.
Yeah.
If you're not kind, I don't even want to talk to you.
Right.
Like why waste my time? I don't want to waste your time.
No, because like I said, when I had my surgery and stuff, after that, I've decided that I'm not surrounding myself with people who are, this is going to sound kind of selfish.
No, it's not.
I think you'll get it. I'm not going to surround myself with anybody who's not going to try to lift. You don't have to lift me.
Yeah.
But you have to lift something.
And you can't be pulling other people down.
No, absolutely
because
not.
if you try to rescue somebody that's pulling people down, you're going to get pulled down with them. I learned that the hard way.
I have to.
Yeah.
I have to. And I have made those mistakes where I have reached out to and helped people and just to have it just blow up. And some of it blows up really bad. But now I'm living alone. I do have a guy that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Okay, but our relationship is that way. We build each other.
Yeah.
That we don't get negative about any of it. And that's what I want in my life. I want to surround myself with people like you and like Amy and like a Kendra. I love Kendra because there's so much positive energy. If everybody would just take a breath and think, what can I do to make me better today?
And if you would extend that to the power structure that runs our government.
Yes.
And if government were to think, how can I help the people in this country today?
Right.
If that were the number one focus, I can only imagine the amount of progress we could make. Oh God,
we can make so much progress because I believe in all that manifesting and positive power. And, everybody says, oh, well, I don't believe anything. Everything that is growing, everything that is on the ground, everything has a power. And
that we share at some level.
We do all share it. It's all the same. It's just you have to be able to listen. Just listen.
Yeah.
Listen to it. And that's why when I say when I get overpowered, I go to the mountains or I go to the ocean because I can listen.
Yeah.
I may not hear anything but the waves or the wind, but there's listening. That's what you listen for. And then you hear it within you. And you spread it. Come back and spread it. Because once you get it back, ground yourself.
Yeah. I love that.
Get grounded. We have to be that way. I don't think people were meant to be under the amount of stress that people put themselves under. It's not I don't think it's a natural state of mind.
Well, and I think we're sort of being manipulated to be that way too.
Yes.
Like you see the media, you see everything on TV, everything's about death and dismay and everything's so negative.
It is very negative.
And it's like, we do all these fluff pieces. No, you do a 30-second fluff piece that doesn't mean anything. And then you spend the next 58 minutes talking about how the world is going to come
somebody
to an
down
end.
or look at what's going on right now. This is my thing. Okay. Let's not blow up Teslas.
No, please no.
What the heck? Do you know that they have a battery? The battery is never going to destroy. It's never going to go away. Why blow it up? Leave it alone.
And all you're doing is leaking cobalt into.
Thank you. What are we doing?
A lot of cobalt. Yeah.
I just, it aggravates me. I don't want to talk politics. I don't talk politics and religion, but that aggravates me because let's use we don't have any common sense anymore. There is none.
It's strange to me. Like one of the things that always puzzled me, because now that I work for the state,
I do too.
And I see what people go through when they experience poverty.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll never understand is why they don't have a conversation about poverty in schools. Like, why don't they teach that? I mean, even in college, they don't even have those courses.
No.
And it's like, how can we... It almost seems to me that it's a conversation they don't want us to have.
No, they don't. They don't, because this is my theory on it. If people started having that conversation, we would figure out how to rise above it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it takes a community sometimes.
It does take a community.
Yeah.
Always does. Mm-hmm. I mean, I raised my kids, but I didn't do it on my own.
100%.
You know, I mean, my mom and my neighbors and my, people. It was like when I was growing up, I lived in a little tiny small town in Vermont called Bristol. I could not walk home from school and do one thing wrong without somebody calling my mother and telling her before I got home. Okay.
Yeah.
So it takes a whole village. When people say that, you don't get it unless you've gone there. I think people who are born in the city, like New York City, and never lived anywhere else, I don't think they grasp that, because everybody is so me, I, and you have to have other people. You have to.
And I have a theory about that.
Okay.
I have a theory that if you live in a place where you cannot see any stars, you lose a connection to the universe that I think needs to exist.
Oh my God. That's put really well. Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. Cause I remember growing up in Kirkland, Washington and it was light pollution was everywhere. You couldn't see the stars.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that first time we moved out to Snohomish in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you see the sky and it's the first time you're like, oh
my God, they're really up there.
I'm not alone in this. Like, there's no way that we're alone in this universe.
Oh no.
There's no way.
No.
There's too many planets, too many solar systems, there's too many everything.
There's too much energy.
Yeah.
That the universe is full of energy. And I believe that that's where we're from. That's what we are. We're energy.
Yeah.
And there's too much of it to just be us. Mm-hmm. But that's another theory over there. Mm-hmm. That's for another talk.
Yeah. That's a rabbit hole I'll go down sometime.
I'd go down it with you, actually, because I do. I'm such a sci-fi person. I love it. Love science fiction. Everybody's like, why do you like it? It's entertaining. If I'm going to sit down and watch TV, I don't really want to hear the news. Mm-hmm. I don't really want to hear, I like this, I love the little shows that come on the History Channel and stuff, the little ones that teach you. But if I'm going to sit down for entertainment, I want to be entertained.
I can get down with that. And the reason I like sci-fi more than some of the others is because in sci-fi, there's no, I don't know how else to put this other than there's no killing without reason.
Thank you.
Like you watch a show like John Wick and it's just a human killing other human beings. And that's the whole plot.
Yeah.
And it's like, ew.
Yeah.
At least with like sci-fi, we're not going to kill you unless you're doing something, then we need to defend ourselves.
Right.
And that's a huge difference.
If you're a predator.
Yeah.
Then we have to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
Like my favorite sci-fi series, God love it, is Stargate Atlantis.
Okay.
Because I love the whole theory behind Atlantis.
Yeah.
And all of that. And there's the I forget what they're called, the wraith.
Yeah.
They're a predator. But how did they start out? They were human and bug. The bugs kept feeding on the humans, and then they became, really? That's all energy taken away,
Yeah.
It's just the way it happens. They say, what is it? Evolution.
Yeah.
That's what they grew into, was from that. So I believe wholeheartedly that there is something else besides us.
I couldn't agree more.
It's bigger than me.
Yeah. And I would feel like, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, I feel like you would have to be, I don't know if conceited is the right word, to think that we're alone in the universe. You know what I mean? Like, there's a word I'm thinking of, like, and I don't know if I don't know what the right word is.
Well, I think it takes this is just, you'll probably get some bad press on this. Okay. But I think it takes a very small mind to think that we are alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's, you live in a box, you think in a box, that's where you're going to be. You're in the box. If you look outside of it, you have to look outside of it, because there's so much more outside of that box.
Mm-hmm.
In the little box that we live on this earth, there's so much more outside of this that I can't believe that there's not something.
There has to be. There has to be. Mm-hmm. I just can't accept that there's not. That's what the Boyle's line is. If you think about probability, there's the probability that there is way higher than the probability that there's not.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do too. I love that we're doing space exploring again. I
same.
love that.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And if I was just starting out now,
Mm-hmm.
and I was graduating high school, I'd be all in the space program. Oh.
There are two things I want from the space program that'll be controversial. One, they just landed that one rover on the moon.
Yes.
Just like they did in Mars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I want the rover to go where we landed on the moon the first time.
Yes.
I want to see proof that there's a flag there.
I do too.
Because without proof that there's a flag there, I have questions.
Yes.
I have so many questions.
I know. Wouldn't that be, what I also want them to do is to go to the dark side.
Yeah.
Because that's not explored.
Yeah.
I want to see what's over there.
Yeah.
What do we know? There could be.
Yeah. What's the temperature there? I was curious about what the temperature is.
Yeah. Because the moon doesn't rotate like we do. It's just there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's mine.
And I think it was Verizon that got in trouble for that.
Oh, probably.
So Verizon had this app on your phone where if you took a picture of the moon, it claimed you could zoom in and see the face of the moon.
Oh, yeah.
But what they did is since the moon never changes, they have a picture of the moon in the phone and already saved. So when you're scrolling in, you're thinking you're seeing a picture of the moon. In reality, you're seeing a digital AI image of the moon.
Oh, come on.
I was like, that's dirty.
That's really
kind of dirty.
Yeah, that's not good. Let's, But I don't believe that we're alone either.
Yeah.
I want to see proof that we were in the moon. Yes, I do. I don't think it. I really seriously think we did.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. And then I saw that stupid documentary and I have questions.
It brings up doubts.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
I was like, why did you do this to me, stupid director? Like, I thought I had life figured out. But that's also an approach to my life that I think a lot of people don't have.
Yes.
I'm not married to any of my personal beliefs. I leave room to be changed, for my mind to change based on information that's available.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's because you, like me, you want to grow.
Yeah.
You're constantly seeking knowledge, and we evolve every day. We're different than we were yesterday. Today I'm different than I was.
Yeah.
And people don't see it.
Yeah.
Until later, if you haven't seen somebody for a while, oh my gosh, you don't believe that anymore, or you don't do that. But that's what life is supposed to be. We're always supposed to grow. Always supposed to gain knowledge. We should live for, hundreds of years.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way we were designed.
And I would say on the flip side of that too, like if you have somebody that makes a mistake and they apologize, we need to stop this whole embracing of cancel culture. We need space for people to change their minds.
Yes.
Like even if you're racist today and you do some racist BS, if you learn from that and you heal from that and you do the repair work so the person you've harmed is repaired, I don't know why we still cancel them.
I don't either.
It makes no sense to me.
It doesn't me either.
Yeah.
I think that's where we go back to the smaller minds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't mean smaller minds as being stupid. I'm just people who don't want to grow.
Yeah. Like closed-minded people, right?
Yeah.
Because they could have if they were to do the effort, right?
Yeah.
Like nothing. I'll always be perplexed by people who don't want to grow anymore.
Yeah.
Like I have heard people say, well, I've learned everything I need to know in life.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I heard
poor
a friend
person.
Friend of mine a long time ago, he was older than I was. And he said this to me. I was living in Michigan at the time. And he said, look, my wisdom teeth are in. I don't need no more knowledge. And I'm like, whoa, what did you just say? I got my wisdom teeth. I'm as smart as I'm going to get. I don't need nothing else. And I thought that was really very sad.
Yeah.
Funny, but sad.
Yeah.
You know, making a joke of it, sure. But he didn't want to learn anything else. He didn't want to look at other people's points of view. His point of view was all, and that was it.
And that's how my dad views the world.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's how I learned not to be. Is because I saw and I love my dad to death.
Oh, absolutely.
But he for example, he's been in Costa Rica now for 9 years.
Oh, nice.
He only knows 10 words of Spanish. The entire time he's been there. And he's married to somebody from Nicaragua. Mm-hmm. She speaks English. He speaks no Spanish.
Yeah.
They live in a place where they only speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And it's like, how, Dad?
How can you do that? Yeah, because if I went to France, which I would love to do one day, I would want to learn the culture. I would embrace that. And I would be like, I need to learn.
Just don't go to Paris.
No, I have no intention.
It's not worth it. So I've been to Paris and I've been to the outskirts of the western part of France, like the countryside. And they have all kinds of abandoned castles and cute little towns like that. The west side of France is beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Paris just is so it's New York City smelly.
Yeah. I don't want to go. I want to go to New Zealand. That
would be beautiful.
Yeah, but I don't want to go into I think it's Auckland is the biggest city down there.
Yeah.
Would I like to see it? Yeah, because it's nowhere near pictures of what we have here as big cities.
Yeah.
Okay, but I want to see the
I want to see the dingoes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was watching a thing on BBC America about the different places. They have those things. And they were showing one of all of these islands and stuff around New Zealand and all these little animals. And I just want to go see them.
Yeah.
Because they only live there.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
It wasn't so long of a flight.
Yeah, but you could go to Australia.
That's
and
fair.
then hop over.
Yeah.
I want to go to Australia too. There's 3 places that I absolutely want to visit before, they're on my bucket list.
Yeah.
New Zealand, Australia, and Iceland. Why? I don't know.
They're beautiful places.
Yeah.
Iceland is on my list too. So is Ireland.
I'd like Ireland too.
I had a trip to Ireland planned, but then at the last minute it was canceled.
I have this thing I also want to go up to where the Vikings were.
Yeah, up in Norway.
Yeah, that would be exciting for me too, because I love the culture and the pieces, the jewelry pieces and the art pieces. I love that. I think it's so, anybody that can do that type of jewelry, oh my God.
It's funny you say that. I just met a gentleman this last weekend, actually, right across the street from here, who owns a jewelry shop.
Yeah.
Where he makes custom jewelry.
Oh, God.
He's in his 80s. And the stories are just like, I went in there to sort of ask and inquire about a ring. I stayed in there for like 45 minutes just listening to him tell his story.
When you meet somebody like that, it becomes 45 minutes goes by like 20.
Yeah, like that.
It goes by like so quick.
Yeah.
Because you get into a conversation and you're that type of person that wants to learn and wants knowledge and wants to meet people. You like meeting people, or you wouldn't be doing this, you know? And I like meeting people. That's why I go out, and that's why I do stuff. And that's why, and I didn't get the story about why I got my name Joy Germ, but we can do that. But I like meeting people.
Yeah.
So at work, Joy Germ Creations is the name of my art.
Yeah.
At work, I do this every day. They have a daily calendar, daily celebration, national daily calendar, and it's every day is a celebration.
Yeah.
Okay, something to celebrate. Doesn't care if it's brownie day. It was whatever. So on January 9th, there is a day called Joy Germ Day. And you read about it, and it's about spreading joy and making people happy and being positive and all this stuff. And the girl that sat in front of me, she goes, Val, that's your day. And I went, what? She goes, you're Joy. And that's how that came about. I've been calling it Joy Germ Creation since, because she goes, every time anybody comes around and they're feeling bad, they're like, God, I just got to talk to Val. She'll fix it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, because I don't want negative people around me. I don't want somebody who's in a bad mood. I will fix it. I'm a fixer.
Yeah.
I'll fix your mood. I'm not fixing everything.
But the urge is there.
The urge is there.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm also that way.
Yeah, I know.
And I have to
tell.
resist the urge.
Yes.
To get too involved.
But when you have empathy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
People who have empathy, that's the way we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the most surprising thing to me too about having empathy and being vulnerable is that in reality, vulnerability is not a weakness.
It's not.
It's kind of a superpower.
I think. Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you're able to be vulnerable in certain situations and you get other people to be vulnerable back, the amazing conversations you can have with people that you would never otherwise be able to have.
That's so true. That is very true. I didn't look at it as my empathy being a superpower, but yeah, that is true, because if you can get people to open up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
a good thing. It's one of my talents.
Yeah, it is.
The only drawback to that talent is like so many people trauma dump on you. Like random strangers.
Yeah. Oh, you're sitting waiting for the bus, and somebody comes and sits down and goes, well, blah, blah, blah. And you know their whole life story in 10 minutes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
There's a signal we give off. There's a signal we give off.
Yeah,
that people
it is.
Pick up on.
True. Yeah. True. Very true. Because I'll have people come up to me all the time when I'm just doing nothing.
Yeah.
And talk. And I'm like,
and they'll pick me out of a crowd more often than not.
Yeah. We do give off a signal. I think there's something about our aura that attracts people who we also attract people who are like us.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
But we also attract people who need that. But you have to be so careful, because you can have that energy sucked out of you so quick. And then it becomes exhausting. And you have to go home, and you have to close your doors and lock the doors and leave everybody alone for a minute, because somebody just wasted my energy. Oh, gosh. But it's fun.
Yeah.
I like being the way I am. I like me. I like the person that I've turned into. I've gone through a whole lot of stuff. I have not had an easy life.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, there's not any of it that I wouldn't go through again, because it made me me.
Yeah.
And if I left one thing out, I wouldn't be who I am. And I like me.
I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
Like especially because even with this podcast, right? Because I used to host a radio show and I used to do all this stuff around radio. I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Then. Like, there were huge gaps in my game, huge gaps in my knowledge base. And I've been through the ringer in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
And it has led to this rebirth of me as I am today that wouldn't be here 6 years ago.
Right.
And I have to acknowledge the trauma and everything that I've been through and embrace the fact that it built my character.
Absolutely.
And able to survive it makes you stronger.
Yes. And if you learn from it and you grow from it and everything, that makes you strong, and it makes you be. There's somebody out there that will need the knowledge that I have. I'll run into them.
Yeah.
Because if I can help one person get through something that I went through so it doesn't scathe them or scar them or as badly as it did me, then that's passing that help on. And yeah, we'll have to do this again and talk about art.
Yeah. Oh, we're still gonna get to the art piece.
I know.
But absolutely.
This is. Mm-hmm. I so believe that the way that you present yourself and the way that your attitude is all of what comes back at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm going to give out positive.
And the weird thing that's happened that I did not expect, that has been a blessing, is that all of the people that aren't that way steer clear of me now.
Yeah. Yes.
And they're like, okay, this guy's positive. This guy's this. This guy's this. I'm not going to get in that.
But, you know, for me, that's okay.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
You know, I'm good. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Mm-hmm. You know, I might be your glass of whiskey. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but I'm not for everybody, and everybody's not for me. And I have learned through a lot of bad experiences and thinking that I had it right.
Yeah.
That some people I just need to, as soon as I meet them, I know that that's not somebody I'll be able to have we'll have a little bit of a friendship.
Yeah.
You'll be my associate, not my friend.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sad that I have to look at it that way, but that's called self-love and self-preservation.
And I don't think that's sad.
It's not. Well,
I think that's setting up personal boundaries to protect yourself.
It is. But yeah. I'm like, I want to embrace everybody.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, I want to go hug everybody and make everything, you know, make you feel good. But there's some people that I'm just, I'm going to let somebody else. I'll let somebody else take care of that.
Especially when you put out the goodness and you put out the kindness and you see that they recoil.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like, I feel bad because I know that they're doing this because they have an unmet need.
Yes.
Like most people that are angry or upset or exude that sort of a mentality usually have a significant need that has gone unmet.
Yeah, yeah. And they have a baggage somewhere that they're not able to put down. Mm-hmm. And I don't get it.
I don't either.
Because I had baggage that I needed to put down, and it took me a long time to put it down. But once I did, what a relief.
Yeah. Do you remember the moment that happened? I remember the moment that happened for me.
I do.
You want to talk about the moment that happened?
The moment that I realized that I had let go of what was interfering in my growth as a person was I was talking to a homeless man in Detroit, Michigan. And he lived homeless because that's what he wanted. He didn't have to. He told me his story, why he was homeless. And I went, you know what? If he can get through what he went through, because he went to work. He was a college professor. He went to work one day and got a phone call to come back home. His wife and daughter had been murdered. And he held on to that. And then he said, I'm letting it all go. I was doing this for them. I don't want to do it anymore. So he became homeless. And I'm sitting here and I'm listening to his story. And I'm like, if he can put that baggage down, I need to let mine go. And it was like, I turned and I looked at him and I said, you know what? I said, that's an amazing story. And he goes, yeah. And I said, thank you, because that just let me shave what I went through off. Me. And him and I became really good friends. You know, I mean, to this day, I'm hoping he's still good. But he was, a college professor. He didn't have to be out there. It was his choice because he lost everything that he was working for. I remember that day very clearly. It was very lifting.
So for me, it was a trip to Hawaii. I had just left a really bad marriage, and we had booked a trip to Hawaii. She was able to cancel the Airbnb and all of the other stuff that I paid for, except for the flights. And I had a buddy out there, and he allowed me to stay on his couch. And I'll never forget, because it was 10 days that I was out there.
Mm-hmm.
And for 10 days, we spent 8 hours a day talking about what life is, what the meaning of peace is. He's Native American. And so I got to hear the Native American story about what the country was, the way it was built. And I learned for the first time about this character called the Peacemaker.
Yes.
And it just resonated so much with me. And like, oh, that makes so much sense. I get it now. Yeah. Like, I've been holding on to all of this baggage and dead weight, and sort of even just kind of stewing in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was too.
Yeah.
I stewed in it.
And it wasn't until he's like, you need to let it go.
Yeah.
Because you hold on to it, and the whole thing just weighs you down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was that moment I was like, okay, I've got to let it go.
Yeah.
It still took me like a month to finally let it go.
Yeah, of course it does. When I say I was I didn't automatically set it down. It took me a while to put it down.
Yeah.
But I had in the back of my head, I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. I didn't constantly think about it. I didn't let it interfere with my mood. I didn't let it interfere with, that was the main thing. I let it go away from my mood, because I had anger issues, in there. Wasn't an angry person or a violent person, but I was angry. Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't when you're angry, you're not happy. And I wanted to be happy. It takes so much less energy to be happy than it does to sit in that anger. It's hard. It's hard to sit in it.
It's hard, and for some reason it's the default.
Yeah.
Like, even to this day, I don't understand why, because like I will always wrestle with those negative self-talk.
Oh, absolutely.
And that negative sort of self-doubt.
Of course you do.
And
we all do.
And even though like I go to therapy and I know better and all this other stuff, the default is always still that. Mm. And I don't know if I'll ever understand why.
I don't know either.
I don't even know if it matters, though, tell you the truth.
I don't think it does either, because as long as you know it's there and you know why you're doing it, it's easier to put it down and to change it. Because the first thing I say every morning when I get up is, excuse me, not that, sending the light before me, make my path straight and my way easy. That's it.
I love that.
Send the light before me. Make my path straight and my way easy today, please. And talk to the universe or God or whoever you choose.
Yeah, the who is not as important as just having that
as the what
connection.
Yes. Yeah. It's not who you talk to. My dog listens very well.
Yeah.
And I talk to the dog. And as long as you're getting it out, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's the people that hold everything. I held everything for a long time.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. And that was forced upon me.
Yeah.
So I was in a very bad relationship at the time where, like you can't talk about us. That was the only rule. You can't talk about what's going on at home. That was the unbreakable rule. And even with my therapist, like for the longest time, like I could not talk to my therapist about what was going on at home.
And that's sad because that's where that's where mistakes are made. That's where the joys are created. That's where the moments are. And that's where it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where life happens. In those four walls we call home.
Yeah.
And that's where it should happen. It shouldn't happen outside.
So I do want to
in a relationship.
I do want to pivot back to the art piece there
Okay.
because I have some questions I've been dying to ask.
Okay.
How do you go about selecting which canvas to use? Like, because I hear like so many people say, oh, it's all about the canvas. It's all about the canvas. But then nobody says like, well, what canvas are you supposed to get?
These canvases they're stretched and I buy them this way.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So they're like this on the other side. It's canvas material.
Yeah.
But because this here has a gesso on it, it already has a base for me. So I don't have to treat
gesso?
It's like a base paint, like a primer.
That's what it takes to like. So it's white.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you prime them, and I always do a base coat of whatever I'm going to do anyway. If I buy a black canvas, I'm going to base coat it black anyway because I know it's going to stick. The paint sticks better.
Okay.
It doesn't stick so good to this.
Yeah.
So when they say what kind of canvas, I think what they're meaning is what base.
Yeah.
Unbased or not. Have I bought them unbased? Yeah. And I don't like them because it takes too long for me to get it to where I can work it.
Because like if you do it this way, there's a level of consistency that you don't have to worry about on the front end.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. I know that this has already been treated. I'm going to do my little background. I may use color in my background because it depends on what I'm going to do. If I do a sunset, I usually do blue all the way down to maybe a beige if I'm doing a beach scene. But I always put a base on it and I start from there, even though there's already a base on it.
Okay.
Okay. That's what I think they're talking about as far as what kind of canvas. I'm going to tell you honestly, I buy cheap.
Right.
I don't care. They have canvases the same size as this. I buy these. I think I get 5 of them. I think it's like $23.
Okay.
Okay. You can buy one for $23. That's really treated. Okay. But I don't need that because I'm fixing it. I'm going to do it. So I buy cheap canvas. This is one of my favorite ones.
I like that. It's about the size coffee cup that I need.
I call this my morning coffee. My hair's up in a bun. That's the way it is.
Yep.
That was fun. This was a tutorial.
Okay.
To get everything, my proportions. I was trying to learn faces and stuff. So I did a couple of them. And this tutorial was fun. I mean, most of it is the tutorial, but oh goodness, I see a tear.
Oh wow. Uh-oh.
Yeah. I'll have to fix that. But yeah, this hangs in my kitchen. So
how easy is it to fix those? Just curious.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fix it from the back. It'll just be taped. This one's not gonna be sold, so I'm not stressing over it. It's just mine. So if it was gonna be sold, then it would be a little bit different. There's some. I do sewing, so I have fabric. Stuff that I can fix the tear with. So, but this one I'll just tape it. It'll be fine. Yeah, that's me at my morning coffee. I love it.
Now, does the cost or the different types of brush matter more than the canvas?
Yes, your brushes matter more. I like natural bristle. I use a lot of horsehair.
Okay.
But I do have synthetics. A synthetic for me is a better liner like this. Okay. You know, and I've even used, this is kind of funny, but I've taken an old eyeliner and washed it out, you know, the old eyeliner, and used it with my black paint or any color paint that I want to get a really nice line, because it holds a lot of paint. It holds a lot of eyeliner. So you don't have to, everybody's like, well, what do you paint with? Well, paint with brushes. I paint with sponges.
Yeah.
I painted with a fork. I wish I had that painting. I gave that away though. I painted with a fork because I wanted.
That's so
fun.
awesome.
It was fun. I wanted the texture of that I could get with a knife, with a palette knife.
Yeah.
I wanted that texture, but I also wanted a certain look to it. Yeah, it was a fork. Did a fork. And a pastry brush. It's nothing but a paintbrush.
Okay.
Really.
And what's the secret to mixing the colors?
When I figure that out.
That's fair.
I mix a lot of colors, but it's trial and error for me.
Uh-huh.
If I get a good color, I try to remember what I did.
Yeah.
But it's like when I'm cooking, I'm this.
Yeah.
I don't measure, and I know that I need a green blue, so I need to have it more blue than I do green, but I also have to add other colors to it to get it like a little bit of yellow.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, a little bit of red. I know that from the color wheel, because once you start painting, you get into the color wheel, you know where you have to go with it.
Yeah.
But I do not, and I don't like to buy pre-mixed colors.
Okay.
Like if I want a lavender, I'm not going to go to the store and buy a lavender. I'm going to do my purple and white, and I'm going to make my own lavender because I can get a pure color that way. And it's mine.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. I love mixing color.
Yeah. Well, and it adds the character, right? So
it does.
If you're using a store-bought color, you're using the same color as everyone else. And like that, you know that yours is a one-of-a-kind authentic because like you've even mixed all the colors yourself.
Yeah. And let's talk about color first.
Yeah, please. Mm-hmm.
This one.
Oh, that's so nice.
This is one of my favorites. I'm going to tell you, that one may have taken me 4 or 5 hours, I think. This one took me 3 days. Because like I said, I'm a perfectionist, and this had to be exactly the glass, the floor that she was on had to be perfectly glass so that the shadows looked right.
Yeah.
And it was so hard. But these are all mixtures of browns and yellows, and you can see reds.
Yeah.
I use reds because I don't want anything. I don't like the store-bought colors. I use yellow and then the white and stuff for here. But this green, I mixed this green. This isn't a real green. That's green and blue right there.
Yeah.
And then this is green and white, or this color and white. Yeah. So I like that mix the color. I think this is probably the most pure color on this. Everything else is mixed.
How'd you come up with your signature piece?
My last name, my maiden name was Zeno.
Mm-hmm.
So it's VZ.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, if you hold it like that.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. That's how I said them. I keep my maiden name because that's what I always signed my artwork when I was in high school with. So I just decided I'm not changing that.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what my last name is when, I'm married or whatever. One day I think I'm changing it back to Zeno anyway. Mm-hmm. And then this one.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I love black and whites.
Yeah.
I love them.
I like the splash of color.
Yeah. This one was pretty fun. I watched a video of somebody doing, I guess it was somebody sitting on a back with the stage lights, and I went, well, I think I want to do this. This is I did this quite 5 years ago, so it's not as good. You can see my lines are really weak.
Yeah.
But it's still a good thing to show, because this is how you learn.
Yeah.
That's what you learn. You got your light here and your brighter here in the front. Shoulders are bright. All mm-hmm. This should have been a little bit deeper, but it's, nobody's going to notice. So
But and something else too that I figured out along the way is there's no such thing as bad art.
No. Anybody that says it's bad art, they just don't have an eye for anything. Because I think, and a lot of people say, well, I can't draw a straight line. Oh, wait, hey. I can't draw straight lines either, see?
Yep.
It doesn't matter. It's all with what you do with it. But yeah, I am a perfectionist to the point. That was one that I was working on just to see how I could play with light.
Yeah, okay.
And I do a lot of that. Like I did this one that was all broken glass.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I wanted to play with the way that light hits glass.
Yeah, because it refracts and bends.
Yeah, yeah, that was a lesson that I took online with this artist that I follow, and she was teaching it. So Saturdays, sometimes that's what I do. I spend an hour with her. It costs a little bit, but it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's not that much.
Yeah,
and so I'm getting training now. In my later years in life, I'm becoming, but I don't even care if I don't get trained. I'm going to do it anyway because it's fun. And I think art is perception. It's how you perceive things. It doesn't have to be perfect.
No.
As long as you're willing to do it. It's like pottery. I love pottery. I would love to be able to do it again. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Pottery is not in the cards for me.
Oh my God. Until you've sat and felt that through your fingers. I recommend somebody try it at least once.
Oh, I tried it.
Have you?
Yeah.
I love it.
It's so with my dyspraxia, not knowing where my fingers end and space begins.
Yes.
I don't have a light touch. I've never had a light touch.
Yeah.
And so when I would work with pottery, it would get to a point where it would look nice, but then you try to get that upper curve.
Yeah.
It always collapsed because I could never. Yeah.
I have not done pottery for years, and I did a set of dishes when I was in high school, and they came out. So my God, my mother, God love her, she had them. We didn't use them, but she had them for a long time, and it was fun doing it, but it was not well.
Yeah,
it didn't go well. They were uneven.
We had a shop class that we had to take in high school, and we were supposed to make a cup. Mm-hmm. I ended up making an ashtray because I could not get the cup to go.
See, but that's the fun stuff,
And my dad did keep that ashtray for like 15 years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I took in school. I took metal shop, and I made a bookshelf that I gave to my sister for her kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I did woodworking. I think my mom got the shelf. My sister for her kids. I mean, it was a pig.
Yeah,
and it was 2 cutouts of a pig and wood shop, and I made a little bookshelf. It was so cute, but that's what I do. I make it and give it away.
Yeah,
make somebody else happy.
Those are the best gifts.
They are.
Yeah.
And, we're talking, I'm trying to get my kids to understand this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to buy me anything.
Yeah. Ah!
I want you to use thought and build it or make it or whatever.
Yeah. So
paint it.
I chuckle because I just went through this with with Bill Stam, who is the creator of the All Nations Native American Veterans Memorial.
Yes.
I created a website for him.
Nice.
And I went ahead and paid for it for a year. It's like, it's my gift back to him.
Absolutely.
And he called me 3 times and was like, I need to pay you. And I keep trying to tell Bill, I will not take your money.
Right.
You're retired. You're almost 90. It's no.
My gift.
But then he's like, so then I was like thinking, it's like, you know what, Bill? Like, you're not going to let it go. I'm not going to let it go. How about you make me some piece of jewelry?
Absolutely.
And he's like, hell yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
And so he's going to make me a ring.
Let's do that.
And
let's barter.
Yeah, I'm all down for that.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I don't want your money.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah. Money is a commodity that I don't want to take. I don't want to take food away from somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And money right now, we're spending so much in food that, I don't have a garden anymore. I live in an apartment now, but I used to have gardens and I used to can everything and I have it all winter and I loved it and I want to do it again. But I found in this last year, I have spent so much money on food because I didn't have the canning and I didn't have the stuff from last summer.
Well, and it got to the point where I gained all the weight I lost back.
Yeah.
Because I could not maintain a carnivore diet.
Right.
On my salary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I had switched to a carnivore diet and it cut out most carbs and I was down 64 pounds. Yeah. But then all of the meat prices skyrocketed and I couldn't do it anymore. Yep. And so I had to reintroduce carbs back just because that's what you can afford. Yeah. And what do you know? The weight comes back.
Oh, of course.
And it's
yeah. And the meat, and it's funny you're saying that because I'm both.
Yeah.
I love vegetables. I love spaghetti.
Yeah.
I like my carbs, but I love meat.
Yeah.
Okay. Meat, ham, especially ham. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is my favorite. So getting good meat is hard.
Yeah.
But, I don't want to promote a whole lot of stuff, but there is a subscription that I belong to that it's all grass-fed meat.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Yeah. And it is so good. And they have everything. They have everything. You can get salmon.
Yeah.
I'm not a fish eater, but everybody goes, you don't eat fish. You live in Oregon. Yeah. I grew up inland. Okay. I was landlocked. I lived in Vermont. No ocean.
A significant portion of my family history is Native American.
Yeah.
I can't stand salmon, and they give me a hard time about it all the time.
See, I'm from Algonquin Indian territory. Okay.
Yeah.
We're meat eaters.
Yeah.
Hunt.
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't eat fish because we had a lake.
Yeah.
And warm water fish isn't as good as, ocean fish.
Yeah. And my great-great-grandmother was Cowichan from British Columbia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So she lived on Vancouver. So our family lived on Vancouver Island.
Nice.
And so we were fishermen.
Yeah.
And so the fact that I hate fish, my dad gives me a hard time all the time. All the time.
I'm so glad. That's so funny because I can relate to it because I grew up inland. We didn't have it.
Yeah.
The fish we did eat was warm water, and catfish grown in warm water tastes like mud.
Oh, it's garbage.
It's gross.
Yeah. I feel that same way about trout.
Yes. Anything I eat more fish now that I've gotten older because I can appreciate it, but I can only eat white fish.
Yeah, same.
Same. White fish. I will eat cod all day long.
Yeah.
I'll do it. But you know what I do like? Seafood is calamari.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, you don't eat shrimp, but you eat calamari. Yeah.
That's a difference.
Yes,
it tastes different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I have a huge affinity for gator tail. I love, I remember there used to be one restaurant that had gator tail in the Seattle area, and it was like 75 miles away.
Yeah.
And I would drive 75 miles once a quarter for that darn gator tail.
Yeah.
And I haven't had it in like 6 years.
Yeah. I worked at a place when I was in Detroit, Michigan called Fishbones. And it was all like Cajun food.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'd have alligator and sometimes we'd have shark steaks and they were in season when they could get them. And I'll tell you, I love alligator.
Yeah.
I don't care. It tastes good. I agree with you.
But I can't describe what it tastes like because it doesn't taste like anything else.
No, everybody says, oh, you eat this, it tastes like chicken. No. Frog legs. I hate to tell you, frog legs don't even taste like chicken. No. But
I can't eat them.
Frog legs?
Yeah.
Oh, I love them.
I can't do them.
I can, yeah.
I just see the little leg. I just can't do it.
I love frogs, so I don't like to eat them.
Yeah.
Because I collect little stone frogs and stuff. I love frogs.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I'll eat a set of legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no, they don't taste like chicken, but they have I guess you have to acquire it.
Yeah.
A taste for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't like what's that? It's the caviar. That's an acquired taste. I think ugh,
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I don't like that, but the certain things are acquired tastes. And if you don't, our taste buds change all the time. So things that I didn't like, 2 years ago I eat now. I hated mushrooms. God, I hated mushrooms. Mushrooms are gross. They're fungus. Why are we eating those? Now I'll cut them up and I'll put them on my steak.
Yeah.
And I'll, stuff like that because my palate has changed a little bit.
I'm the same way, except for certain kinds of mushrooms I like more than others.
Yeah.
The earthy ones that kind of taste like dirt. I
don't like those. I like I don't know what they're called actually. The little white button ones.
The creminis, I think it is.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
You buy them in the store in a little pack like this. And little white ones, you cut them up and eat them. They're really good if you saute them with beer and put them on your steak. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Yep. Got to saute them in beer though.
Well, we've been at this for well over an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that time went by.
I know, right?
Yeah. It's been fun.
I agree.
Yeah.
So how do people get more information about your artwork? Is your artwork available for sale?
Yes. I have an Instagram page and it's called Joy Germ Creations. All one word. JOYGERM Creations. And then I also have a Facebook page, but if they want to get in touch with me personally, there's my Instagram is I am Joy Germ.
Okay. I am Joy Germ.
Yep, that will be me.
Val, thank you very much.
It's been fun.
Likewise.
Good to know
And I
you.
say the same thing I say every week, folks. Be kind. We only are on this planet once, and we all share the same air. So